It can be hard to get your big idea started, to write the first lines of code for software that will change the world, to hire the team that will make your dream a reality. That's why we built a different cloud, one that's comprehensive without complexity, that gets you up and running in minutes and stays with you every step of the way. Because simpler tools lead to happier developers, and happier developers get better results. Build with us. Grow with us at DigitalOcean.
All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. This is my weekly live stream. It's called Get Your Head in the Cloud. This is the official DigitalOcean Twitch channel, and I think we might be on YouTube as well. And it's a special edition. It's our Pride Month edition, and I'm so excited that I have a special guest, Hector. So I'll introduce myself, then I will let Hector introduce himself, and we've already got Thomas saying hello. So if you're watching in the chat, say hey, let us know where you're watching from. Thomas is saying hello from Minneapolis. So, hey everyone, I'm Kim Schlesinger. I am a developer advocate at DigitalOcean. I focus on cloud native technologies, especially Kubernetes, and I live in Denver, Colorado. So I'm excited to have you all here for this special stream and to have my special guest. So Hector, will you tell us about yourself?
Absolutely, thank you. Well, my name is Hector Alarcon. I am the open source intern for DigitalOcean under the marketing team, and I'm based in Binghamton, New York. It's quite lovely outside.
Excellent. Well, how did you become an intern at DigitalOcean?
Well, after I was applying through a numerous amount of internship, as you know, every college student does. I managed to hit an interview with actually my current manager, Phoebe Quincy. And it was actually a two-part, which it was like one, I think it was more of personality / like team kind of like interview, and then the other one was more like leaning towards like technical questions and kind of just awareness of software and open source software.
Excellent. Wonderful. And then not everyone knows what like an office of open source software is. What does that mean for DigitalOcean?
So for DigitalOcean right now, that's actually one of the questions that we're trying to cement properly. So what we're thinking, it's an office that will take care of either maintaining, analyzing, and identifying software that we use, contribute, and currently develop ourselves.
Excellent. So sounds like you're identifying open source projects that DigitalOcean uses, like our engineering team, and then figuring out which DigitalOcean engineers contribute to those projects. And then maybe we do have like some DigitalOcean projects that are open sourced, like Doctal, our command line tool. So cool. Well, where could people find out more about the open source program at DigitalOcean? We can share the link.
Actually, most people can probably just go to our public GitHub to get a lot of their open source that we use. I think there's some of them are just available on the documentation for DigitalOcean. We also have a ton of tutorials that actually our developers are like actively like helping to develop, which is pretty amazing.
Excellent. Well, we shared this is the link to our GitHub organization, github.com/DigitalOcean. And we've got some great tutorials. And then do you want to talk about Hacktoberfest?
Oh, yes.
Really putting Hector on the spot here.
Just a little bit, just enough. So Hacktoberfest is our one of our conventions where we announce and try to involve the community, the open source community, into helping out small and startups develop software and develop help with any projects that they might be issuing right now.
Yeah, so Hacktoberfest is one of the first ways I ever heard about DigitalOcean, but every October we run a festival, like an event where if you submit a certain number of if you submit pull requests to open source projects and they get merged, you can get either a t-shirt or you can have a tree planted in your name, but it's a way for us to celebrate and uplift the open source community. So check that out. And then also check out, Hector mentioned this already, our community site. We've got a lot of tutorials. We've got tech talks, just lots of resources for people to learn about open source and cloud native and all sorts of cool things. So we're really proud of that. Thanks, Hector. So we've got a few people who have said hello. So we've got, again, Thomas from Minneapolis. Welcome, Thomas. We have More Than Awesome saying hello. If you are watching live, say hey in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from. And I want to let you know what our agenda is for today. So what Hector and I are going to do is we're going to share with each other some open source related projects that are particularly inclusive and have like really good practices, especially for the queer and LGBTQIA communities. And then Hector is going to teach me a new skill, and then I'm going to teach him a new skill. Once again, me putting our intern on the spot. But we're going to share with each other some technological knowledge we each have that the other doesn't. So super excited. Say hey in the chat. And if you know of any more projects that we didn't mention, we would love to hear about them, but celebrating inclusiveness in the open source community. So let me get my screens arranged here. And I'll share my screen. So I'm going to start. So talking about inclusive projects. All right. Beautiful. So this is from the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, the CNCF. And they have, I think it started within the CNCF, but now it's its own organization. They have something called the Inclusive Naming Initiative. So this is the Inclusive Naming Initiative website. And basically, this initiative came about in 2020 when a lot more people were aware of some of the language in computer science that is exclusionary or like infused with bias. And so the Inclusive Naming Initiative does a lot of things. They have lists of terms that are outdated and should be changed. They also have like a list of processes that you and your project might go through to identify some language that's maybe not as obvious. And they've got all sorts of things. So one of the things I'd like to point out, well, they have these word lists, which are nice. They have these tiered: replace immediately, strongly consider replacing, recommendations to replace. And I like these because if you have a GitHub organization like DigitalOcean and the tier 1, if you click on that and look at some of the words there, you can just do like a search through your whole organization and start making those changes immediately. But this other thing I want to show is that the Inclusive Naming Initiative Special Interest Group created this course, and this course is free. It's called Inclusive Strategies for Open Source. It takes about 2 to 3 hours to complete, but if we scroll down, I guess it's kind of basic, but yeah, it just talks about what the course is going to be like, what is an inclusive code base, like what does that mean, how you as an open source maintainer or contributor can make those language changes happen, and just an overview of inclusive processes. And then if you scroll down even more, this is a learning path where there's a lot of material about having more inclusive practices in open source. So speakers, open source community, open source development, stuff like that, a beginner's guide to open source software development. So check it out. I will put this blog post in the chat as well as the link to that course. All right, this is the blog post, which has a ton of links. And then let's see if I get it right. All right, I might have made it happen twice, so sorry. Sorry if there's 2 things there. But then this is the link to the training course. So check those things out. So I'm curious, if you're in the audience, what do you think about that? Hector, what do you think about that?
I think it's pretty great because a lot of let's say habits of programmers are kind of like very like hard coded as to like what do we name things and how do we name things, especially when it comes to like regular use of variable names. Like you're so used to using those specific names, so you just it's hard to like kind of like rewrite yourself to like use something else. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point that when you come up in computer science or you've come up in the tech industry in like the last 10, 20 years, there are a lot of terms that were ubiquitous.
Right.
And I think you sort of feel pressured to use those because that's the language of the industry, quote unquote. And so I like, especially this replace immediately list, just gives you suggestions about what to do. So instead of white list, black list, allow list, denied list, allowed nouns, denied nouns, and things like that. So got a couple of comments in the chat. So we've got Phoebe, who is Hector's manager, and my friend Phoebe saying, loving this, go Hector and Kim. We love you, Phoebe. Phoebe runs our open source office at DigitalOcean, and she's in charge of Hacktoberfest and all of our initiatives. And then More Than Awesome is saying, hey, I'm enjoying this talk while I'm cleaning up the ops board. Excellent. QA Insight says, it's a great initiative, I think referring to the inclusive naming initiative. And my friend Chad Dev says, hi, DigitalOceaners. Hey, Chad, good to see you. So excellent. So yeah, definitely check out the inclusive naming initiative. And if you either contribute to an open source project or you work at a company, I would look for some of these terms and then ask why they're there, propose alternatives, like actually make those PRs. Like it's technically not the most difficult thing to do, but can make like a huge impact, especially in making people feel welcome to come to your project or to your company. So yeah, check it out. All right, so that's the inclusive naming initiative. Hector is now going to lead us through some projects that are extremely inclusive. So yeah, let me share this link and it's all you, Hector.
May I have an afterthought?
Oh, absolutely.
Along the lines of the inclusivity thing, I just remember what like a big not a I mean, it's a slightly big problem in like when it comes to like machine learning and artificial intelligence. You have like what they're called like unbalanced data sets. So like you
Unbalanced
have
data sets.
particular groups of people that are, you either have a lot of like maybe like males on certain data sets, so you don't get to, assert or identify other features that might be present on multiple different peoples. So definitely inclusion in the sense of making sure that you're able to represent a wide variety of people within data sets would be interesting.
Oh yeah, so Hector's got a background in machine learning and artificial intelligence, and even though I technically don't have that background, I am following sort of the discussions that our data sets that we train those models on contain the implicit biases that we and the tech industry have, and we have to work against that. And so there's been a lot of conversation about that sort of in the tech industry. And I think I know in the last few years, like some AI projects have come out that, again, like exhibit the bias and like the racism and the sexism that is widespread. And so, yeah, like training the models, like making sure that the data reflects what we want is really important. So, and then we do have an AI project to highlight toward the end of this. So excited to call that out. And we have more viewers. This is wonderful. Welcome, everybody, to our live stream. This is Get Your Head in the Cloud, our special Pride Edition. I'm Kim, a developer advocate at DigitalOcean. This is Hector, our open source intern. And right now what we're doing is we're highlighting inclusive open source projects. I just talked about the Inclusive Naming Initiative, as well as this Linux Foundation course, Inclusive Strategies for Open Source, that organization put together. And now Hector is going to tell us about some actual like projects that you can interact with and potentially like write code for that he found. So take it away, Hector.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Kim. So one of the things that I really like about the following projects is that one, they're really easy to contribute to. Two, they're very functionally useful for like LGBT people, and so let's dig into them. We have Digital Cores as the first one, which it's a very interesting like initiative of volunteers that essentially build websites for LGBT organizations around the world, especially around countries that outlaw same-sex marriage. And and anybody that it has the skills of contributing to like WordPress websites, it's definitely a resource that they might be able to use to be able to get those resources to people that need them.
Oh, nice. So this is super hands-on. It looks like in the description here, it says, we've built 170 WordPress websites for extraordinary LGBTQ plus grassroots organizations in 60 countries. So you can actually volunteer your time and like build out a website for an organization, it looks like.
Yep.
Oh, there's the apply to volunteer button. Nice. All right.
Then we have, I think, QueerMap.
All right. Next up is QueerMap. And by the way, we put this link in the chat. All these projects came from this awesome blog post by Code Academy. So calling out these open source projects during Pride Month. So check it out. All right. QueerMaps.
So QueerMaps, I really, really like because it's just very, it's super easy to interact with. It's literally just a map that has waypoints of landmarks of either LGBT resources, bars, nightclubs, events, get-togethers. Anybody can just add to it. You can even select the different criteria for like how inclusive it is. Is it just accepting, or is it only for LGBT people? You can filter by country that you're in.
Oh yeah, look at this.
Type. Yeah, like it's beautiful. So and they have a GitHub page. So if you want to contribute to the project and either fix some bugs or add some features, definitely either make a fork or do a pull request and get to contributing.
Oh yeah, these filters are amazing. So you can say like, "Hey, I'm looking for like a place to get food," and then you can go from 14 to 27, and then greater than 28. And then I like this is queer acceptance, only for queer people, primarily for queer people, or queer people are welcome. Let's actually let's say, Hector, where in the world do you want to go eat?
Oh my God. My bias is saying Japan, but I kind of wanna check out Italy.
Okay, Italy. All right, let's see. Okay, here's Italy. So we've got 12 there. So we want to go eat. Okay. Oh, doesn't look like there's anything listed in Italy right now. I'm sure there are eating establishments that are queer friendly or like run by queer people in Italy. So if we knew of one, we could add a place like this.
Right.
So let's go next door over here. All right. Okay, so we could go to Cafe Noir. It says queer people are welcome here. Ooh, what is this? Okay, so it's giving us some actual legal information about like what the laws are in France. Gives us the address. Very good. What about this place? Cote Place. All right. Is made for queer people. Excellent. Giving us again this 2019 homophobia data set. Excellent. All right. I love this. So we've got a comment from Rag saying, put more servers on Brazil. I don't know if that means on this map specifically or for DigitalOcean, but yes, yes to both. And then more than awesome, I think, hearkening back to the digital core, they're saying Out in Tech in general is an outstanding org. They've got an active and interesting Slack for all things professional and personal in tech. Excellent.
That's great.
Let's see. Let's go to the Out in Tech page. Ooh, Out in Tech U. Okay, they've got featured events. Okay, so if you're interested in what More Than Awesome is talking about, I would say go to outintech.com and click through the Get Involved links. Beautiful. Thanks for the tip. More Than Awesome. All right. Well, we've got queer maps. Oh, yeah. Do you know how to get to the GitHub page? Oh, well, that was...
Yes.
Tell me. Even though I just found it. So I clicked on the left navigation and there we go.
Right there.
Okay. Yeah, we've got... Oh, this is nice. I like how it's... They have different repos for each part of the project. So if you wanted to work on the front end, you could. There's an API map. What's the ideas?
Right.
Let's see what the... Okay. Oh, QuickHub means you belong. And gives you a little... Okay, beautiful. And you can sponsor this project. Outstanding. So give that a chat. Or give it a chat, give it a look. All right, got some more things in the chat. Thomas says, let's eat Brussels sprouts from Brussels. I think as we looked at the map of Europe, we've got Akil saying happy Pride back at you. Pride. And Daniel Zaltzman, who works at DigitalOcean, saying DigitalOcean is also a corporate sponsor of Out in Tech. Excellent. So glad to hear that. All right, so we've talked about Out in Tech and I can't remember the name of that project. Do you remember it, Hector? Let's see. Digital Core, the Digital Core, where you can make a WordPress site. We've got Queer Map. And what's next?
What's next is something that I think it's pretty useful, just functionally. Refugee restrooms. If they give you for any LGBT folk that want to be safe and want to feel comfortable going to the restroom, there's a list of unisex bathrooms.
Excellent.
Available in like most states in the US.
Excellent. Well, let's look where I'm at. Denver. Okay, so there's quite a list here, which is nice. Ooh, I like these icons, sort of giving you. Let's see. Is it accessible for disabled folks? Is it for all genders? And then, are there changing tables? Nice. All right. So this is the airport. Nice. And it's got all three of those criteria. Got Starbucks. Looks like the Denver Center for Performing Arts, the state capitol. All right. I like this. Oh, Meow Wolf. Very cool. Beautiful. And it looks like you can submit, like the last project, you can submit information.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
And just add to the database.
Excellent. Do you know if you can make code contributions or documentation contributions to
Absolutely.
This project?
They're written in Ruby, though.
Oh.
So you do need to download Ruby before you want to. All
right. But it looks like the org is called Refuge Restrooms. And yes, we see the Ruby. And they have looks like a nice README. Nice. And then, a contributing doc. I always look for that. I've got a list of, beautiful. How to run this locally. And the tech that's required. And links to the Refuge project on other platforms. So Twilio, Android, iOS, and Yo. Yep. Excellent. All right. I love it. We've got some more comments. We've got Rabbit Doe saying, happy Pride. I love those emojis. Happy Pride to you, Rabbit Doe. More Than Awesome responding. And then Rag saying, I love DigitalOcean. I'm going to watch later as I need to go back to work. No problem. This will be on Twitch and YouTube when we're done. And then Thomas, who's our resident royalty, like pun royalty, written in Ruby because this knowledge is a gem.
Nice.
All right, so check out refuge restrooms, either to find a restroom where you can feel safe, or to add a restroom where you live, or to actually work on their code base or documentation. All right, what's next, Hector?
What's next? We have Maven Youth, which is, as the name implies, it's a resource for LGBT like youth or teenagers that I really like, because it's about networking, it's about learning about technology, and it's about feeling comfortable with a community that gets you.
Awesome. Okay, so it looks like they have summer tech camps for excellent queer youths, 14 to 19, virtual workshops. That's nice. Youth leadership. Ooh, tech career readiness. That's very cool. I love it. Excellent. And you can ask if you have questions, and they've got all of these links on their socials, and it looks like they've got a newsletter. So check it out, either for maybe you or for someone you know.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, we've got a couple more, right?
Yes, we got one that is another one that is more fun than anything. It's a .gay domain. So
dude, I love this.
if you want to showcase our pride.
That's right. So I didn't know that .gay is a domain, but GoDaddy, it looks like they're offering 1 year for $3.99. It probably depends on the actual domain you want, but use the promo code Pride 2022. So yeah, if you are interested in spinning up a personal website or a project or something, you can have .gay. Be at the end of it, your portfolio, something like that. And I know a lot of us like to buy domain names, whether or not we actually deploy anything onto them. So if you're interested, check this out. Looks like it's godaddy.com. Top level domains, TLDS/gay domain. So we've got some of the pride hearts in the Twitch stream. And then let's call this out. So we have someone who's running our backstage. You don't get to see them, but they posted this message. Thank you, Ray. It says, "Hey, Pride folks, this stream was put together through DigitalOcean's LGBTQ+ employee resource group, Rainbow Dolphins. You can learn more about the group's efforts here." All right. And then, that's on our blog. Let me go find that. So digitalocean.com/blog. Aha, here it is. Beautiful. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing what is an employee resource group, what can that look like at a company, we have awesome ERG leaders for our Rainbow Dolphins group, Phoebe and Ray. And we have this outstanding Q&A about how the group is run. So if you're working at a company and you're curious how to get this up and going, this would be a great blog post to check out. So check it out. Let's see, did that provide a link? It did not, but that's okay. All right. Well, if you are just joining us, welcome. This is Get Your Head in the Cloud special Pride Month edition. I'm Kim, a developer advocate at DigitalOcean. This is Hector, an intern with our open source office at DigitalOcean. And right now what we're doing is we are going through some open source projects that are super inclusive. And then Hector and I are going to teach each other a technical skill that the other doesn't know. So we were just looking at Maven Youth, and and then we saw the .gay domain, which is great. And what's next, Hector?
And last but not least, we have Queer in AI.
They have a new website. Now we talked about this a little bit earlier, but tell us about Queer in AI.
So, and very personal, because we were just talking about artificial technology and machine learning. So Queer in AI is also kind of like Maven Youth, but I think this is more towards like, mid like getting started in tech to professional. These are actually actual like workshops. This is an organization where you can like know more about like the career opportunities in AI, about the technology itself, um, and it's an offshoot out of out in STEM.
Let me open that up.
There's like proper lectures. You can become a volunteer, um, and then you can also submit papers as well.
All right. So it sounds like out in STEM and queer AI is, I think, because a lot of that part of the field is academic. Like this is to support folks who are in academia. So it says foster a community of queer researchers and celebrate the work of queer scientists. And this is cool. Need financial help with grad school applications. So that's really nice. Beautiful. And then Hector, did you studied machine learning or artificial intelligence at university?
So I did my master's was in computer science, general computer science, but I did try to focus mostly on artificial intelligence and machine learning. Yes.
Nice. Very cool. Well, this looks like an outstanding for community for people who are interested in that part of the tech sector. So nice. All right, got a few comments in the chat. So the first one is from Dev saying, "Oh, don't search domains on GoDaddy. They buy it. If you don't, then hold it hostage." All right, so know what .gay domain name you want and buy it right away. It sounds like. And then Thomas saying another name, possibly query. That's a funny pun, like a search query. I think that's the name of Cameron Esposito's podcast, Query, that I listen to sometimes. Beautiful. Well, I have really enjoyed this overview of these inclusive projects celebrating queer people during Pride Month. And so check those things out, get involved, and let us know. Let us know if you are involved in any of those projects. It sounds like Out in Tech is something that people are already involved in, which is very cool. So before we transition to the next part of the stream, we just want to invite you, if you're watching, we have a lot of folks watching. Say hi in the chat. Let us know maybe where you're watching from. And I know we have a lot of DigitalOcean folks watching. So, hey, happy Pride Month to all you. We're glad to have you here. And now we're going to go into the second part of the stream, which is where Hector and I teach each other something. So I'm going to pull this tab out. And so I scared Hector because I didn't tell him we were going to do this. I just put it in the description and he had to read it on his own. But Hector has written code in Python, and I really haven't. So this is W3 Schools Try Python. So it's like a REPL in the browser where you can run Python. So this is what it comes with by default when you go to this page. X equals 5, and then X like add 3, and then print the value of X. So if I run this, looks like it's running. And the answer is 8. So Hector, will you tell me how to do like a hello world in Python?
Yes. So just like before, you can just use the print function. So you print open parentheses, then double column, open quote, sorry, and hello world. Close the column and close the parentheses.
All right. We'll say hello world, happy Pride, double quotes, and then parentheses. And then let's see it print. All right, there it is. Very nice. Any other Python tricks or tips I should know?
Yeah. So the good thing with Python is that you don't have to declare variable types. So everything is fair game. So now you have to be a little careful depending on the type of variables you use, because you don't want to, like one of the my previous programming professor used to not like Python because he said it would teach you bad manners in terms of programming.
I like that.
But,
It will teach you bad manners.
right. It's so kind of like it like having started with Java, it's just kind of like keeps you mindful of like what data type are you using. Is this an object? Is this a function? Is this a return? Is this a pipeline? Is this a stream data stream? Like what is this? So it is nicer to get started, but exercise caution.
I feel like my first coding language was JavaScript, and I feel like I received a similar message. Like JavaScript is very flexible, and so you can do some weird things with it that you may not realize you're doing. So we've got we've got this. A Rabbit Doe says, "Do you know what print returns?" I think the sound that I don't know. I can't think of what that's called. That ASCII art says is Is there a type of function in Python where you can see the type of
Yes.
like what data type it is? Do you know what it is off the top of your head?
I think it's just type open parenthesis.
Okay, let's give this a try. So if we say type, if I can spell it correctly, TYPE, and if I pass it the number 5 and I run print, I think it's going to say number. Ooh, it says class integer. All right, beautiful. And let's see. So if we said, hi, Hector.
Return a string.
Okay. Excellent, class string. And then Rabbit Doe says, do you know what print returns? I'm not sure this is quite getting at their question, but would I do this? Do I have enough parentheses? 1, 2 up front and 1, 2 at the end. It doesn't look like it like that.
I feel like I've heard this question before. So it's a sneaky question. I think my first programming professor asked me the same thing.
Well, Rabbit Doe, you'll have to tell us what print returns, because we don't know off the top of our head. And it could be hard to be put on the spot when you're streaming. So let us know what print returns. And then Thomas, actually, Rabbit Doe is saying, he, he. I guess the answer is none.
None.
Interesting. Thank you, Rabbit Doe. I love it. And then Thomas with a joke. When I asked my computer what type it responded, not your type. All right. Beautiful. Well, I should write some more Python maybe one of these days. I don't know. Beautiful. Well, now I'm going to teach Hector something. So I'm going to unshare my screen, and Hector's going to share his stream. And I'm going to make my screen bigger so I can see it. And again, if you're watching, say hey in the chat. Let us know where you're watching from, or if you know of any really inclusive projects that we could highlight for Pride Month. This has been a really fun stream so far. Oh yeah, and I meant to do this earlier, but I want to turn on some background noise or some background music.
Let's see.
Oh, I can add. Do you want me to add you to the stream? Your screen? Yeah, there we go.
Awesome.
All right. So I'm going to show Hector something about Kubernetes. I'm not quite sure yet, but we're using this tool. It's called Killer Coda. So if you've played around with Kubernetes before in the browser, you probably used Kata Coda, which is what I used sort of when I was starting. And O'Reilly, the publishing company, bought Kata Coda, and unfortunately and understandably, they are no longer offering that as a free service. You have to subscribe to their platform to use it. But Killer Coda has stepped in and filled that gap, so you can try Kubernetes in the browser, because one of the harder things about Kubernetes is like getting it spun up, and that can be really complicated. And it can be a real turnoff. It can cause people to sort of walk away from trying that. So killercoda.com. And then so let's go to an area. Let's see. Let's go to playgrounds. Okay. Cool. Oh yeah, and they have all these things for Linux and Vim, and then these Linux Foundation exams. So the CCAD is the Certified Kubernetes Application Developer. The CKA is the Certified Kubernetes Administrator, and then the CKS is, I think, Certified Kubernetes Security. But let's just go to playgrounds since I'm going to guide you through. But if you wanted to have a tutorial, that might be it. All right, let's do Kubernetes 124. Excellent. And then you got to sign in. So Hector signed in using GitHub. All right.
Oh.
That's exactly what I did. I said. All right. Okay. So let's just see what we're working with. So actually, can you make your screen bigger, Hector?
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so it's initializing Kubernetes done. Okay, you have access to an empty kubeadm cluster with two 2 gigabit nodes. The control plane node has taint removed to be able to schedule workloads as well. Okay, so usually in like a production Kubernetes scenario, you have your control plane nodes, and then you have worker nodes, and they're separate computers or virtual machines. I think everything can be scheduled on one virtual machine using Killer Coda, but that's not too important for us. So kube control is the Kubernetes command line tool. So Hector, if you just type kube control, KUBE, and it's actually CTL instead of the full, and just hit enter. Let's make sure. Beautiful. Okay, so there's all the different commands you can run with kube control. Let's look at nodes. So if you do kube control and then get nodes,
get dash nodes?
No dash, just just like that. Just spaces. Excellent. All right, so it looks like we actually have two nodes. We have the control plane node, and then we have node 01. And then, okay, so it says that this Kubernetes cluster you're working with is 51 days and 50 days old. And then you're running the latest version of Kubernetes 124.0. That's awesome. Go ahead and type clear. We'll clear out the terminal. Excellent. And let's just grab all the pods. So if you say kube control, get pods, and then, that's good. So it says no resources found in the default namespace. So Kubernetes uses namespaces to organize like the workloads that you're running. And so if you don't specify which namespace, it'll just give you whatever you're asking for in the default namespace. So run that exact same command, but at the end do dash and then capital A.
Like that?
You'll need a space between the S and the dash. Aha. All right. So on the left column, it's saying kube system namespace is where all of these pods are running. There's a Calico kube controllers, something called Canal. I don't know what that is. Core DNS, etcd. So etcd is the data storage part of Kubernetes. Kube API server, Kube controller manager, Kube proxy, Kube scheduler. Those are all the things that allow you to deploy an application on Kubernetes and it gets it onto a node. Excellent. All right. Well, let's pause. And Hector, what's like one thing you learned about Kubernetes so far?
Syntax using get. It reminds me a lot of Ubuntu.
Oh yeah, very good. Yeah, a lot of verbs: get, apply, delete. Sort of our CRUD actions. Create. Yeah. What is R?
Same with the flags.
The flags. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They feel familiar, I think, to Linux users.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, why don't we deploy an application into this cluster.
Ooh.
So go ahead and clear it out. And the first thing we'll do is we'll just create a namespace. So if you say kube control, create namespace, all one word. And then whatever, let's say pride or something. Beautiful. If you hit enter, that should make it. We should get a message. Okay, so Kubernetes says, hey, I created the pride namespace. Let's double check. If you say kube control get ns for namespace, we should see all the namespaces in this cluster. Excellent. And you see 13 seconds ago, you created the pride namespace. Beautiful. All right. And so we want to deploy something into the pride namespace. I'm on the back end over here finding a thing to deploy. So give me just a second. Absolutely. I think what I'm going to do is last week I gave a workshop at Open Source Summit in Austin, Texas with my former coworker, Mason Egger. And I am going to find that repo. So give me just a second. Let's see. It's in our community. So do-community. There we go. All right. So I'm going to paste this in the chat. So Hector, in a new tab, can you open up that repo?
Oh, to the Twitch chat.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't have the Twitch chat open, so give me 1 second.
Oh no, that's okay.
Okay. Oh, I need to sign up for that.
I can send it to you another way if you need.
Yes, please.
Okay, so in StreamYard, if you go up to the top where it says comments, you should see at the bottom the link. Yeah.
That is glorious. Yes.
Yay. Beautiful. Okay, so if you are interested in trying out Kubernetes, this workshop is designed for you to experience that. And instead of using Killer Coda, there are instructions for how to use a DigitalOcean Kubernetes clusters. So what we want to do is we want to deploy an application into Hector's pride namespace. And so Hector, if you go to the Kubernetes directory, actually back into the GitHub repo, beautiful. And then there it is. And if you go to manifests, so the way I like to deploy things to Kubernetes are through these YAML manifests. And the reason I like that is we could technically do it with just commands and like string together like a really long command. But I like manifests because you can save them in Git and then share them like this. It's a little bit harder with a command. And so if you go to deployment.yaml, yeah, and can you make that a little bit larger? We'll just look through this and see what it is. Beautiful. All right, so this is YAML, and this is a format that Kubernetes understands really well. And so on line 2, what we're saying is, hey, I want to create this thing in Kubernetes. It's called a deployment. And what deployments do are they let you have more than one replica of your application up and running. So we're going to create this deployment. And if you see on line 4, it's called one-time secret. Line 5, we're going to have to change this. It's going to deploy it to the app namespace. We don't have that namespace, so we'll change that. Yeah, but we'll do that back in Killer Coda in just a second. And then on line 9, we're saying how many replicas we want of the application. So this is part of making something highly available where you have more than one version of it running that can accept traffic and like return traffic in case one of them goes down. There's at least 2 more running. And then line 21. So Mason actually built this one-time secret application as a Python application. And this is where the image is stored. So it's in the Docker Hub under Mason's account. It's called one-time secret. And then after the colon, it says 2022-620. That's the latest version of this app. And there are some other things there that we don't care about too much. But what we want to do is copy this. Hector, have you ever used the raw version of like code in GitHub just like that? Yeah, you got it. If you're ever copying from GitHub, this is the way to do it. So just copy that because it doesn't have any of the line numbers and like the indentation is a little bit more consistent.
I actually didn't know about that. So thank you.
You're welcome. Hot tip from someone who's spent a lot of time removing line numbers from code she copied from GitHub. And then go back to Killer Coda. You got it. And then if you go to editor, I think we get like a text editor.
Oh,
nice. And so we want to create a new file called deployment.yaml. Oh, nice. You got it. Yep. And then hit OK. And then paste that. Ooh, we're getting some syntax highlighting. Oh, Red Hat. Looks like Red Hat is behind Killer Coda. Thank you, Red Hat. Oh, this is interesting. It's actually like doing some Kubernetes scanning on this. So can you make that message come up? It's saying, hey, one or more containers do not have resource limits. This could starve other processes. So in Kubernetes, if you don't say, hey, this container only gets X amount of memory and Y amount of CPUs, your container can eat up all the resources on a node and like bring down all of your applications. So if you actually scroll to the bottom, I have resource requests and limits, but they're commented out. So if we just remove those, if we remove those comments, I bet that that message will go away. Beautiful. And then now resources has a red squiggly under it. So let's see what that is.
Sequence item without crash indicator.
I think something weird happened with the indentation. So if you just do one backspace before resources, I wonder if that'll fix it. All right, cool. All right, so we're going to create this 3 replicas. Oh, perfect. Of the one-time secret app. And we're going to put it in the Pride namespace. And I wonder if it's going to crash because we have database information for a database that no longer exists. But let's give it a try. So here's how you do that in Kubernetes. You've got your terminal. You're going to say kube control apply. And then you say -f for a file. And then deployment.yaml. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Excellent. And then let's see if we have 3 pods running. So you'll say kube control get pods.
Oh, I thought you were going to quiz me.
No. And then we just have to say in the Pride namespace. So -n and then Pride. Hey, look at that. So we have 3 of those, 3 replicas of the one-time secret container is creating. It lives in the Pride namespace. And like I said, I don't think they're going to work because we have database information in that deployment file for a database that no longer exists. But Hector, you got connected to a Kubernetes cluster and deployed an application. Look at that.
That's amazing. So if I were to like deploy, say, like a web application, in one of them fails, the other two, it will be available because of the other 2 replicas.
Hopefully. Right. So like one thing that will probably happen with actually, if you just do an up arrow and run that command again, we can see if the status of the containers. Oh, it is working. So if there is a problem with the way you configured your application or with your application itself, like that might cause all the replicas to be unavailable. But yeah, let's say if for some reason, like one of the pods went away, Kubernetes is always, it has a controller and it's always saying, what did you ask me to be running? You asked me to run 3 replicas of the one-time secret app, and then it makes that happen. Like it's constantly like making sure that whatever you told it to do, that it's doing its best to make sure that that is true. So yeah, that's part of the beauty of Kubernetes, is that it does that automatically. But you know, it comes with some other complexity.
Okay.
All right, this is good. Thomas is uber ready for Kubernetes.
Please keep that coming.
Beautiful. Well, we're coming toward the end of our hour. And let's just review what we've did and share what we've learned. And if you're watching, I would love for you to share something that you learned about or something that really caught your attention. Like talk to us in the chat. We'd love to hear about it. So let me unshare the screen. It'll just be the two of us. So this is Get Your Head in the Cloud. It's my weekly live stream. Usually it's just me messing around in a Kubernetes cluster. And we have so many people watching. It's great to have you all here. I'm Kim. I'm a developer advocate at DigitalOcean. This is Hector. He's a open source intern. And so the first part of the stream, what we did was we talked about some inclusive projects celebrating Pride Month. So I talked about the Inclusive Naming Initiative and the Linux Foundation course that you can take that's free if you want to learn more about how to make sure that you have inclusive language in an open source project. And then Hector, you covered a whole bunch of projects. What's the one that's in your mind right now?
Digital Core. I think that
Digital Core.
That's a good initiative.
Yeah.
Lovely too.
I like how.
Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say I like how direct it is. You can like help get a website up and running for LGBTQ plus organization.
Right.
Yeah.
It's something easy to share. It's something lovely because it's a community effort to build a website for somebody else.
Mm-hmm. I like that, and I think that's a sub project of Out in Tech, which has a good reputation. Let's see. Ooh, we've got some folks saying hey. So we've got Poke Mauber, hello, welcome, and we've got Tearing 5, welcome. Glad to have you. Beautiful. So we went over some projects. Oh yes, Morgana Dev, wonderful to have you. I love that emoji. Beautiful. Excellent. So we went over some inclusive projects. Then we taught each other something. So Hector taught me how to run a Hello World program in Python. So in Python, the way you get something to print to your console is the word print and an opening and closing parentheses, and then whatever you have in the middle. Python will show that in your console. And let's see, you said that Python is in terms of like data types, it's loose. So you can like, you don't have to declare a variable like a data type like you do in Golang or some other languages.
Right, you don't need to declare like a data type. You need to say like string name and then type in the string. Like you can just say like name equals something.
Got it. No need to declare a data type in Python, which is, what did your professor say?
Oh, yeah, it's bad manners or bad form.
You may learn some bad coding manners that way, but that's okay.
Bad
beautiful.
programming manners.
And then tell us a little bit about what you learned about Kubernetes.
I learned the syntax. I learned the structure. And I learned that you can deploy them through YAML files.
Yeah.
Quite handy.
Yeah, so kube control or kubectl is the command line tool where that's how you, from your terminal, interact with the Kubernetes cluster. And yeah, it uses familiar verbs like kube control get, kube control create, kube control apply, and kube control delete. So those are some things. And then, yeah, you deployed an application into your cluster and created a namespace, which was awesome. So we've got Morgana Dev say, I need to study more about Kubernetes. K8 stands for Kubernetes. It seems like magic. It can seem like magic, but it's like any tech skill.
Right.
Thomas, oh, thank you. So we've got someone from the audience saying, I learned a lot about or from kube control. Beautiful. And actually, I'm going to find a link for Morgana Dev. So give me just a second to share some learning Kubernetes resources. So let's see. All right. Well, any final words before we raid another streamer?
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I really put Hector through the ringer. You did so great. You'll have to come back on the stream. And I'm still finding that link for Morgana. And yes, oh, I like this. All that magic is unexplained technology. Very true.
That is
very true. And look at all these hearts and sad bunnies and big-eyed animals and devious bunnies. I like it. All right, let me find that. I'm so close. I promise I'm so close to finding that link. There it is. Okay. All right. So Morgana, if you're interested, these are a list of some of the DigitalOcean learning Kubernetes resources. There's a lot of good stuff out there, but we're proud of our community site and our tutorials. So check those out. Beautiful. All right. Well, thanks y'all for joining. I'll hopefully see some of you next week and hang around. We're going to raid somebody else. So let's see who's streaming. Let's see. It always takes me a minute. Okay. I think we're gonna go stream. We're gonna raid X Humming, and what they usually do is they often have like a timer on where they're doing work, and then the people streaming are doing work, and then once the timer goes off, they have some conversation. So if you have work to do, this is actually a really nice stream, just to like have a little bit of accountability and feel like you're in the room with someone. But thanks so much, y'all. Stick around for the stream. If you haven't already, follow our Twitch channel. That way you can get notified of when we are doing live streams. Same with YouTube. Hit, subscribe, like this video. There's lots of other stuff on YouTube as well. And happy Pride Month, everybody.
Happy Pride Month.
All right, here we go. We're gonna raid X Humming in just a minute. This is always the awkward part. All right. Thanks, y'all. Take care.